be most of the flavors that are added into the bar. So for example, that nib brittle we just sampled, all that brittle made right back here, including the inclusion to this next bar. So what this is this is our, you folks just go ahead and pass it around. This is what we call the bread and chocolate bars. Anybody dabbled with this before? Okay, so what this is we have a local baker right up the street here, bakery, the Essential Baking Company. We take their organic French bread, delivered right into those ovens where we toast, butter, and salt it, and make it into a breadcrumb, and then mix it in with our 70% dark chocolate, okay? We get this nice, sweet, salty pairing, really, really delicious stuff. And so other things that are made back here are these confections. So perhaps some of you have tried these before, maybe just peruse the glass case up front there. And again, all these handmade right back here in the confection kitchen. And we've got 3 different bases for these. We have a ganache base, which is essentially a mixture of honey, cream, butter, and chocolate. And any of the flavors we're going to have, most of the time, steeped directly into the hot cream. So for example, we have a ginger confection that's fresh ginger root steeped right into the cream, and then also crystallized ginger added in as well. We also have house-made caramels that are made back here, and also pralines. That's going to be anything nut-based. So we have something called the Big Daddy. Anybody familiar with our treat called the Big Daddy? So what this is a house-made graham cracker on the bottom, which Suzanne is actually making right now as we speak. On top of that, we have a vanilla caramel, and on top of that, we either may have a house-made marshmallow or a peanut butter. Okay, so it's like a triple stacker. Awesome, 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 delicious stuff.
Oh my God.
What's going to happen
Watch out,
here?
we're going to get you.
Yeah.
Got a spatula. Nobody gets hurt.
So what we're ready to... So we're ready to actually make the ganache. What we're going to do, it's cooler in the room, right? Not just for our own comfort, primarily for these marble slabs. So what's going to happen is we're going to hand temper all that ganache. So we're going to lay it out on these slabs, mix it up, spread it out, mix it up, and spread it out. The reason why we're hand tempering is to accomplish 2 reasons. We want to first cool the mixture pretty rapidly, while secondly binding together the cocoa butter and the cocoa solid. Because if we don't temper properly, we're going to see an item looking like this. Alright, so this is called Cocoa Bloom. Perhaps you're all familiar with this, an old Halloween bar, maybe something that melted in the car and solidified. Alright, so what this is essentially the cocoa butter rising to the top and separating from the cocoa solid. So again, you'll see this when chocolate falls from one temperature extreme to the next. So a really good reason why you never want to store chocolate in the refrigerator or the freezer. Because again, you'll get this cocoa bloom happening. So a good place for storage is a nice cool cabinet in the kitchen. Maybe something preferably on the darker side, because that cocoa butter is going to be pretty sensitive. So once we get that all mixed up, we're going to lay them out on these trays to cool overnight. The next day, we're going to take them out, cut them on a hand slicer. We're going to get a bunch of uncoated rectangles of deliciousness, right? So we need to coat that with chocolate. So at the end of this cooling tunnel right here, we have the enrobing machine. So essentially, these pieces are going to pass through, get coated chocolate on all sides. And in this little tiny window right down here, each piece has about 5 seconds to be hand decorated. Again, by one of our awesomely hardworking confectioners right back here in the kitchen. Delivered through this cooling tunnel for about 6 minutes on the other side of the wall into the packing room, where they're going to be boxed up and sent across the nation or up to our retail store for consumption. So the ganache only have typically about a 2-week shelf life, and that's pretty much because of that fresh cream. So that's pretty much why you can find these just here, whereas the caramels and the pralines do last a little bit longer.